Well, happy Tuesday morning, everybody. Pastor Steve here. Thank you so much for being with me for today's devotion. We are in the last chapter of the book of Exodus in your Old Testament, Exodus chapter 40. And if you have been doing this Bible reading plan with us since the start of the year, you have now read every chapter in Genesis and Exodus. And there are some of you, this is the first time you've ever sat down and sequentially read every chapter in Genesis, every chapter in Exodus. And I want to say to you, congratulations. Great job. Keep it up. All right. Exodus chapter 40, the tabernacle is finally erected. I mean, God had given Moses instructions for how it was to be constructed, all the equipment, everything. And then we read in Exodus in detail how they build it. And now in chapter 40, the tabernacle is finally, all the pieces are put together. It is set up. It is erected for the very first time. And the dedication of the tabernacle, especially the dedication of the priest, is recorded for us over in the book of Leviticus, chapters 8 and 9. But in this chapter, it is erected, and that happened exactly 1 year after the Jewish people left Egypt. Look in chapter 40 with me at verse 17. Now, in the first month of the second year, on the first day of the month, the tabernacle was erected. So at the start of what would be the second year after the Exodus, so at the end of the first year. So 1 year after they left Egypt, the tabernacle was completed and erected. So 12 months have passed since they left Egypt. Now, devotionally, there are a couple of thoughts I want to share with you today. One is the way Moses and the craftsmen who constructed the temple obeyed God to the letter, in detail, complete obedience to God's instructions. Chapter 40, verse 16, we read, "Thus Moses did according to all that the Lord had commanded him." So he did in the construction of the tabernacle and instructing the people to build it. Down in verse 33, we read, "He erected the court all around the tabernacle and the altar, and hung up the veil for the gateway or the door to the court, and thus Moses finished the work." So all of it was done exactly the way God had given Moses instructions. And yesterday we looked at the last verse of the previous chapter, chapter 39, verse 43. Moses examined all the work. This is when they brought all the pieces of the tabernacle to him before it was erected. He examined everything and how they had done it, and they had done it just as the Lord had commanded them. And Moses blessed them because of that. Now, God does not love us more because we obey him well. But obeying God well does have an impact on our lives. It brings more blessings. It brings more peace. It brings more joy. It brings more favor from God. So complete obedience matters, and it is much, 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 much better than partial obedience. The second devotional thought is the importance of God's glory and presence in our lives and in our church. Drop down to verse 34. The tabernacle has been set up. It's all erected, okay? "And then the cloud covered the tent of meeting, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. Moses was not able to enter the tent of meeting because the cloud had settled on it, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle." I mean, God's presence was so obvious, so evident, so glorious, so powerful, so filled the tabernacle, Moses was not even able to walk inside the tent. Verse 36, "And throughout all their journeys, whenever the cloud was taken up from over the tabernacle, the sons of Israel would set out. But if the cloud was not taken up, then they did not set out until the day when it was taken up. Throughout their journeys," in verse 38, "the cloud of the Lord was on the tabernacle by day, and there was fire in it by night in the sight of all the house of Israel." Just as when they were exiting from Egypt, pillar of fire at night, cloud by day protected them and guiding them. With the tabernacle, the glory of God, the presence of God. And when the tabernacle was arrested and the glory of God was all over it, they stayed camped there and did not continue their journey until the cloud lifted. And then they traveled until God instructed Moses for them to stop, put the tent up. God's glory was there again. I can only imagine what that was like for the Hebrew people to see that. I want to say this. The presence of God, the glory of God means everything. Without God's glory, without God's presence, the tabernacle was just a fancy tent. In the same way, without the presence and glory of God, the church is just a building. Without the presence and the glory of God, ministry activities are just busy activities. God's anointing, God's presence, God's glory, God's power makes all the difference. And without it, we are nothing. Pray with me that God's glory is always on this church. His presence fills us. And we see his presence, his glory on Sunday. Pray for God to manifest himself in your life and our ministries. Never take the presence of God for granted. The glory of God, the presence of God is a great blessing. So that's my final takeaway from the book of Exodus. Without the glory of God, just a building. With the presence of God, so much more. Now, tomorrow we jump over into the New Testament and we'll spend the next few weeks reading the Gospel of Mark. And then we'll return to this story, reading some select chapters in the book of Leviticus starting in July. But until then, we're going to be reading Mark, as well as on Fridays, one of the chapters from the book of Proverbs. Hey, God bless you, everybody. Thank you for being with me. And I'll see you tomorrow morning as we look at Mark chapter 1. God bless you and have a great day.